Hello, friends. It's Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, April 30th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We have quite a bit to get to for you today. As per usual, the White House bids Jimmy Savile's best friend goodbye today. We'll show you some of that sickening bon voyage from Trump and his best friend, Jimmy Savile's best friend. They're all the same, right? They're all in the same cult of baby-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths. We've won the war with Iran 62 times. On day 62 of the Iran war, Trump declares once again the war's been won. But the Strait of Hormuz effectively remains closed, and it looks like all the economic warfare waged by America against Iran is just simply not bringing them to heel. They're exporting oil out the back door through Pakistan. We'll take a look at that. America is losing the propaganda war badly. We're going to cover that. We have a report from Destiny Resendez. She's breaking down the new PSYOPS initiative launched upon the American people by the federal government. We'll take a look at that report because they are losing the propaganda war to Lego videos of all things. And other videos out there, but the Lego videos are really blowing their doors off. We'll take a look at that. Public health news. Public health news now, the big, investigate Fauci. I don't know where these people have been. The investigation's already been done a long time ago, but we'll take a look at that as a new round of calls to look into Dr. Fauci's bat dealings is coming about. We have a bunch of Epstein news today, actually, as we're not going to lay off the Epstein reporting because it's a window into the psychopaths that run this whole system. We've got a bunch of economic news. What's the big story of the day? It's the greatest economy ever in the golden age, according to Trump. Well, it turns out U.S. debt tops 100% of GDP. And you got, I think it was Hank Paulson. I have the report here. Was it Hank Paulson? I think it was Hank Paulson. Let's see. Anyway, we'll get into it. I believe it was Hank Paulson's warning about the bond market. Something we've been warning about here for a very long time at Weaponized News. Still, it looks like a stalemate. Everybody's finger on the trigger with the war in Iran. We got a bunch more statements out of the Iranians. We have a statement from the supreme leader, Khomeini, that says they have a bright future without Washington, D.C. They're in the Strait of Hormuz. Take a look at these reports. The genocide in Gaza continues. Ethnic cleansing. I guess we're almost at genocide in Lebanon. I mean, we're getting real close. Massacres in Lebanon. We continue to report they're massacring the Lebanese. What's the latest? It's horrific. At least 32 killed, 32 Lebanese killed, and 70 plus aardvark land airstrikes across southern Lebanon today. It's quite horrific. We have video now of that nun that we reported on. It's quite brutal. A brutal attack by an ultra-Zionist on a Christian nun there in Jerusalem. We now have video of it. It is quite horrific, but I guess she deserved it, right? Sure she did. All right. All of that and much more. A bunch of geopolitical news on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. And we're gonna have snow on the line tomorrow. We're gonna have snow on the line tomorrow, so we can let everybody know about how he got hacked and got his account back. And we're going to cover a bunch of different frauds out there, part of our public service announcements. I'm getting a lot of fraud all over the place, so we'll go over that tomorrow. No chats today, huh? Are we on? Yeah, we're on. I don't know if you have to get a new stream key every time for Substack or not. I think you may have to. Anyhow, let's get to this day in history. On this day in our history of April 30th, we go back. There was a lot of noticing on this day. We go back to the year 1349. On this day in 1349, the Black Death Massacre occurred. Aardvark community in Radolfzell, Germany, exterminated. So that was some extreme noticing going on this day in Germany in 1349. 1492, on this day, two things happened, and it looks like they tie together here. 1492, on this day, Christopher Columbus is given royal commission by Spanish monarchs to equip his fleet on an expedition to the New World. Also on this day, 1492, Spain announces it will expel all aardvarks. Some serious noticing going on there. 1598, on this day, we saw the first theater performance in America, the Spanish comedy Rio Grande. On this day in 1789, George Washington is inaugurated as the first president of America. 1803, on this day, we go back a little bit. 1798, on this day, U.S. Department of Navy forms. And then on this day in 1803, Chancellor Robert Livingston and James Monroe signed the Louisiana Purchase Treaty in Paris at a cost of $15 million, doubles the size of America. So I'd say that's probably one of the greatest real estate deals of all time, except for just walking up and shooting them like aardvark real estate deals now. And of course, the purchase of Alaska from Russia, another one. But just walk up and shoot everybody. That's probably easier, right? Sure. 1859, on this day, we saw Charles Dickens publish A Tale of Two Cities. On this day, published in the literary periodical All the Year Round in weekly installments until November 26th. 1871, on this day, we saw the Camp Grant massacre of Apache Indians in Arizona Territory is committed by white and Mexican adventurers. An estimated 144 die in that massacre. 1897, on this day, English physicist J.J. Thomson announces his discovery of the electron in a lecture to the Royal Institute. In 1900, on this day, Casey Jones dies heroically in a train wreck at Vaughn, Mississippi, while driving Cannonball Express, immortalized in the song Ballad of Casey Jones. On this day in 1939, Franklin Delano Roosevelt becomes the first U.S. president to appear on television when NBC RCA broadcast the opening of the 1939 New York World's Fair. 1945, on this day, allegedly, Adolf Hitler commits suicide along with his new wife, Eva Braun, in the Fuhrer's bunker in Berlin as the Red Army captures the city. Did Mr. Little Mustache Man really off himself there? A lot of reports say no. He went out the back door and fled to South America, Argentina. Maybe not. The official story says he offed himself and his old lady there in the bunker. On this day, 1966, or more about Berlin. In 1945, Red Army opens up attack on German Reichstag building in Berlin. 1966, on this day, Anton LaVey founds the Church of Satan in San Francisco, California. And that's a big diversion. That's the public Satanist. The guys really running the show are, what do they call it, the old religion. It doesn't even have a name, right? They don't even call it a name. It's the mindset of being satanic, worshiping the intellect. But the public Church of Satan, founded on this date, 1966, there in San Francisco, California. 1970, on this day, U.S. troops invade Cambodia. 1975, North Vietnamese troops capture Saigon, effectively ending the Vietnam War. 1992, on this day, hey, the final Cosby Show. On this day, 1992, after 208 episodes, the finale of the Cosby Show. And of course, old Bill Cosby went on to subsequently be convicted of drugging and raping women. Strangely enough, they're America's doctor, America's dad. Wasn't that what it was called? Hey. Horrific. And also, well, 1 year later, on this day, 1993, the source code of the World Wide Web is released by CERN, making it freely available to all. And in the year 2020, the origins of the bat problems. 2020, on this day, then U.S. President Donald Trump claims that bat problems originated in a lab in Wuhan, while the Office of the Director of National Intelligence says that the bat problem was not man-made. It was the bats, it was the Wuhans, it was the Faucis. Probably a combination of them all working together here now is what it appears to be. But hey, the official story says it was China from America, and China's official story says it was America from China. That's where we're at with it. The most censored story of all time, the bat problems. And then on this day in our civil liberties history, we go take a look to the year 2006. The Boston Globe exposes President Bush's abuse of signing statements. A Pulitzer Prize winning article by reporter Charlie Savage in the Boston Globe exposes President George W. Bush's abuse of signing statements, in which he repeatedly committed or claimed constitutional authority not to enforce certain portions of many laws. Signing statements had been used since the first presidents, but they generally celebrated positive accomplishments, such as a new law. Bush's claims, however, represented unprecedented presidential power grab and were related to the obsessive secrecy on the part of the administration in the so-called war on terror. Yeah, because they knew they were committing war crimes. Hush, hush, don't be a terrorist. Don't be one of them Al-Qaedas. Don't be one of them damn Al-Qaedas. Okay, here's our segue to the news. Truly disgusting. Trump and Melania bidding farewell to Jimmy Savelle's best friend and his perverted old lady. Truly disgusting. Video out of the White House. Bye. Try not to get caught up in the next time you and your brother and your whole family and eating and drinking baby's blood. We'll try to hold up our end over here in America. We're trying to build the tunnels under the White House. Bye. And the more they sell this, the more I think it's fake. That's the basis, according to Trump, even though we know this is not true, according to U.S. intelligence. But he's selling this almost as hard as his ballroom, right? There will never be a deal unless Iran agrees that there will be no nuclear weapons. So the harder they sell this, the more I think that this whole threat of thermonuclear war, blowing up the world, nuclear winter is bullshit, because they sure are selling it pretty damn hard, aren't they? And Trump don't give a damn. If it was all real global thermonuclear war, he don't care. He's got his bunker. He don't care about the rest of us. Obsessed with the nuke dust out of Iran.
They said, well, maybe the B-2 attack wasn't so good. Even to this day I hear it, because we want to get the nuclear dust. It's way down there. You need excavators and everything to get it. But we want to get it. We'll take it one way or the other. We'll get it. We'll either get it or we'll take it.
Really? Some more disgusting praise here by Trump of Jimmy Savelle's best friend. In honor of the King and Queen of the United Kingdom, who have just left the White House, soon headed back to their wonderful country, I will be removing the tariffs and restrictions on whiskey having to do with Scotland's ability to work with the Commonwealth of Kentucky on whiskey and bourbon, two very important industries within Scotland and Kentucky. People have wanted to do this for a long time, in that there have been great inter-country trade, especially having to do with the wooden barrels used. The King and Queen got me to do something that nobody else was able to do without hardly even asking. They're all part of the same royal bloodline. Trump bragged about it, so there you go. There you go. Iran's foreign minister had this to say about the ongoing Iran war that we've already won 62 times. He said, don't expect quick results from negotiations. Iran Foreign Ministry spokesman Baghani said yesterday that expecting rapid progress from negotiations is not reasonable, warning against over-interpreting American statements on the talks. Key points from his remarks on Iranian state television per Tazim News: Pakistan will remain the official mediator. Pakistan has acted well and has shown good capability in mediation. Pakistan does have nukes. The U.S. and the Zionist regime are known for breaking their promises. The greatest guarantee against a repeat of the war is Iran's own power. Any negotiations will be announced transparently, but American tweets and statements should not be immediately translated as fact. Some of them are misleading. We'll get to that from Trump. Everything about him is a propaganda and lie. Iran's priority is to reach a point where we can say the danger of war does not exist. Unity is not a slogan. In these sensitive conditions, we must not go for each other's throats. This dude right here on yesterday on Iran TV. And again, we'll read it one more time. Just this sentence from the U.S. State Department: Operation Epic Fury and international law. Why we're there? It wasn't for their nuke program. It was there. We're there because right here, as stated by the State Department in a letter they wrote to the UN Security Council, the United States is engaged in this conflict at the request of and in the collective self-defense of its aardvark land ally, as well as in the exercise of the United States' own inherent right of self-defense. Yeah, so that's why we're in this war, according to the State Department. More nonsense from Trump here.
So when you say about, they say that I do the same, I don't do the same. I'm trying to save that country in a certain way. And nobody's ever seen it again. Think of it. They killed 42,000 innocent, not weapon-carrying people.
Trump's trying to save Iran because they love being bombed, and he keeps quoting these 42,000 protesters they killed. No, I'm still yet to see any evidence of his claims. Here's Trump's on the failing Newsmax program, pumping some propaganda and lies earlier today.
The Iran war, haven't you already won? I mean, isn't it? I mean,
we've already won.
War?
We've already won, but I want to win by a bigger margin. But we have destroyed their Navy, destroyed their Air Force, destroyed all of their, if you look at their anti-aircraft equipment, their radar equipment, their leadership is destroyed. We've destroyed everything. If we leave right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild if they ever could rebuild. But it's actually not good enough. We have to have guarantees they will never have a nuclear weapon.
Who is their leadership?
Because just like the Democrats will use the filibuster, will terminate it. Just like I will tell you that Iran would use the nuclear weapon if they had it. I deal with these people. I know people. They will use the nuclear weapon, and we're not going to give them a chance to do it. And I actually think it's very popular what I'm doing. I can tell you worldwide, the world is thanking me because I shouldn't be the one that's doing it. Other presidents should have done it long before me, and other countries should have done it. We were not helped by NATO at all. Other countries should have done it.
Well, I think it's a fact that no country in the world wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Nobody does.
But they don't want to do anything about it. They don't want to do anything about it. They all.
Nobody wants them to have a nuclear weapon except for their buddies, China, Russia, Pakistan, a bunch of others. Like 85 to 90% of the world hate America. Of course, your propagandized Newsmax audience wouldn't know any better listening to these liars. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. Trump's straight up posting Q propaganda PSYOPS on his True Social there for the idiots that could still believe this bullshit. You took a bunch of boosters. Hey, they're still on the market, so maybe get your spring booster now before it's too late for your summer booster. But if you still believe this, you're seriously, you got brain damage at this point, probably from Trump's miracles. There you go. The storm is coming and nothing can stop what is coming. Sure, bud. Sure. So America's losing the propaganda war badly to Lego videos. We got a couple here. Narcissistic king. And they just seem to nail it.
Yeah. Narcissist king. LMAO. Yeah. Narcissist king. Narcissist king. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the greatest of them all? Narcissist king. Narcissist king. How do you spell narcissist? T-R-U-M-P. Narcissist king. Narcissist king. The only king he will be. No kings at all. Yeah. You post AI Jesus pictures, call yourself the chosen one. Demand a Nobel Prize like it's already won. You want your face on the passport, signature in gold. Limited edition, turn the whole book into your throne. Bold, I know more than anybody, that's your favorite line. Every sentence starts with I and ends with I'm the best find. Narcissist king. Narcissist king. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the greatest of them all? Narcissist king. Narcissist king. How do you spell narcissist? Drab, dodge your bone, spur king, that's your real crown. Couldn't serve your country, so you hid behind the gown. Kings don't wear diapers, but you still do. Failing at everything, even the war you started to. You talk big, tough guy, but you can't close the deal. Home is still closed, then your whole plan is a steal. You need constant praise, you need the whole world to kneel. Biggest ego in history, that's the real deal. Yeah. Narcissist, king, T-R-U-M-P. No kings, no kings, no kings. Narcissist king. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the greatest of them all? Narcissist king. Narcissist king. How do you spell narcissist? T-R-U-M-P. Narcissist king. Narcissist king. The only king he will be. No kings at all. Sacred defense. Narcissist king. T-R-U-M-P. Yeah, we see you.
Getting killed in the propaganda wars by Lego videos. Here's another one.
From the streets of Tehran to the avenues of DC, this isn't about hate. It's about the truth. I love your soul, America, but I can't stand your throne. Listen. Listen. I wake up in Tehran, but I'm wearing your brands. Listening to Wu-Tang while I'm washing my hands of the propaganda fed by the man in the suit. I love the fruit of your culture, just not the root of your foreign intervention. I grew up on your films, dreaming of NYC, the lights in the realms of freedom you preach. I love the jazz and the blues, but I hate how your leaders put my brothers on the news as a target, a number, a threat, and a folder. While we're just two kids getting older and colder. I love the land of the free, but not the man in the halls. I love the spirit of the street, not the height of your walls. Between your flag and my home, there's a bridge made of gold, but your leaders keep burning every story we've told. Yeah, I love the stars, but I hate the stripes they draw on my skin. You talk about liberty, but you lock the gate with sanctions that don't hit the elite. Only the plate of the mother and nice behind trying to buy bread. Your leaders aim for the crown, but hit the worker instead. I love the American dream, the work in your rise, but your sentence maximum pressure is just slow motion demise. Medicine scarce and the currency's floor bound. How can I cheer for the eagle when it's pinning me down? I love your people's heart, their drive and their grit, but your White House pen, I got no love for it. I love the land of the free, but not the man in the hall. I love the spirit of the street, not the height of your wall. Between your flag and my home, there's a bridge made of gold, but your leaders keep hostage crisis in the cycle of force. Remember 53, Mossadegh in the coup. Your leaders broke a democracy before it was new. I love the way the people written on your scroll. But your CIA played a different kind of role. You install a king, then you act all surprised when the fire you started burns right in your eyes. I love the Constitution, the way it was meant, but not the way your leaders bypass consent. Yeah, I got cousins in Cali and friends in Detroit, where the hawks in the Pentagon look for gaps to exploit. They want us to hate, they want a wall made of glass, but we're both just the victims of a ruling class. I love your protest, the way you take to the street to tell your own leaders their lies are obsolete. We're fighting the same fight, just different skies, searching for truth in the forest of lies. I love the American soul, it's vibrant and deep, but your warmongering lobby makes the whole world weak. So this ain't a death to, it's a life to the core of a bridge built on art, not a vessel for war. Keep your drones in the hangar, keep your threats on the shelf. I love your land like I'm learning to love myself, but to the men in the high shares, the brokers of pain. Your legacy's rust and your profit is stain. I keep the hip hop, the poets, the Pacific shore, but your imperial shadow, we don't want it no more. Peace to the Bronx, peace to Shiraz. One world, two cages. Time to break the bars.
Yeah, we're getting cooked here in the propaganda war. Now a report from Destiny Resendez. We're trying to get her back on the show. We had her back. We had her on the show during the bat times a while back. Trying to get her back on the show. She's continuing to put out great reports. Here's her latest summary up of the new PSYOPS initiative launched out of DC here. Quite disturbing, to say the least.
Hey guys, I want to let you know what I found out here because we are so fucking cooked, okay? 16 days, 2 weeks and 2 days after the State Department shut down an office that was meant for tracking foreign information and disinformation campaigns, Secretary of State Marco Rubio signed a classified cable that may have quietly rebooted the United States government's PSYOP operation program. So let's talk about this document. According to reporting, the leaked cable went out to every single U.S. embassy and consulate around the world. This happened on March 30th, 2026, just a month ago. It asked diplomats all around the world to counter propaganda and coordinate with the PSYOP office of the Pentagon, their psychological operations unit, and they specifically named Elon Musk's X platform to be the new place of this information war. The cable doesn't just say post-war. It reportedly tells the embassies to recruit local influencers, people that you trust, community leaders, and media voices to push this pro-US messaging to make it feel, quote, feel organic and local rather than central and directed. In plain English, this is the United States weaponizing and putting government input into voices from people that we know and trust, or we think we trust, online, specifically independent voices. And it doesn't just stop there. The cable explicitly highlights using X's community notes feature as one of their main weapons of warfare. So you have the State Department, the Pentagon PSYOP office, their units, the privately owned social media campaigns, and all your favorite influencers woven into one new strategy for shaping what you see, what you think, what you feel, but most importantly, what you believe and what you dismiss as disinformation. So be careful of new faces that come onto the scene that you see virally and all of a sudden out of nowhere. Just be careful. Now, the department, this comes just days after Marco Rubio took out RFME, which was an office that was literally created to counter foreign information manipulation and any interference. That office was at least nominally tasked with transparency and reporting foreign propaganda. Now, instead, we have a classified directive that teaches embassies and the military to work together with social media to run narrative campaigns. This is exactly what the Smith-Mundt Act did in 2013, allowing us to be propagandized, something Thomas Massie has been putting in legislation, hopefully to stop. So be careful, because the next time you see a post that sounds like it's a grassroots one and it goes suddenly viral, you have a new face that suddenly comes on the scene with the most incredible story, but you've never heard of that researcher before in your life. Be careful. The stories, the challenges of the narratives are going to be overwhelming, especially now that this has happened. Just ask yourself, is this part of a coordinated state effort?
If you ever hear me on this channel saying how great the government is, turn it off, because they got me with a brain chip, a drone, a clone, or a robot. So just know that here about Weaponized News. You'll never hear me say how great this government is, because it's a crime syndicate. More from yesterday, the dystopia, or last 2 days, I think it was 2 days ago. I didn't even catch this, but Melania is wearing these Ray-Bans, are the virtual reality glasses. Her and this kid are, and they're showing it off, how wonderful it is. And this kid too. They have the virtual reality glasses on here. And then we showed this already, but look, the new education. The new education is put on virtual reality glasses, tying in with artificial intelligence. Very dystopic. They're promoted by the White House. Again, this short clip is creepy, creepy, creepy. I think they even wherever that music is, they'll copyright. They copyright everything. But anyhow, and I don't have the time to fight all of the BS copyright claims out there. Continuing, convicted nanoscientist from Harvard and Wuhan University, Charles Lieber, rebuilds his brain computer lab in China to pursue technology that the Chinese government identifies as a national priority, embedding electronics into the human brain. We're in a Cold War. If America government doesn't put the brain chip in you, then China will, you see. And so we're in a Cold War to implant brain chips into you here in America. If you don't take the brain chip, then Chinese are going to have the brain chip. So you might as well just take the brain chip, kids.
So we're into 16 hours. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how
Implantable technologies. So see, if you don't take the brain chip, then a Chinaman is. So you better take one. Aardvarkland finance minister, Smoke Trick, says Aardvarkland has the best public healthcare system in the world. That's a fact. In large part propped up by U.S. tax money. And so we do appreciate that. I don't believe that, because I don't believe in any of these establishment systems at this point. But he's bragging about it. So, and also in this interview, he was upset that they're not using their ammunition more efficiently. I can't handle this guy, but he's speaking his language there. We give you the summation. Yeah, let's get Fauci. Yeah, we told you this many years ago. Nancy Mace, she doesn't miss a trick. And she's running for governor there, trying to get out of the feds to go on the lower crime level of the state, run for governor there in South Carolina. But she's nailing it all down. I mean, they're not stupid. They know exactly what time it is. They know what the people want, which is justice. All of this has been thoroughly exposed, up one side, down the other, backwards, forwards, and everywhere in between. But somehow Mr. Jesuit here, former top science man of America and savior of the world during the bad times, got a cushy Georgetown professorship on his way out of the revolving door known as U.S. crime syndicate. And so now she's pushing investigate Fauci. The investigations have already been done 1,000 times over. So I don't know what one more investigation into Dr. Bat is going to do, but she's calling for it once again. Renewed calls for investigating Mr. Bat. Trump has announced a new nominee. Well, let's see. According to Bobby Kennedy Jr. here, he says President Trump's Surgeon General nominee, Casey Means, stands as one of the Maha movement's most powerful evangelists. Her book, Good Energy, which exposed the nation's catastrophic decline in metabolic health, has become a Bible for the Maha movement. They say this guy, the senator, Bill Cassidy, is blocking all of their Maha nominees here. By sabotaging this appointment, Bill Cassidy, once again, he's a good Republican senator, owned by Big Pharma, but he cares about our health, so we'll overlook that. Bill Cassidy, once again, did the dirty work for entrenched interest seeking to stall the Maha movement and protect the very status quo that has made America the sickest nation on earth. And so now they blocked old Means there. Now a new nominee has come forward. A new nominee. Or maybe it's not. Am I getting confused here? I thought there was a new nominee for Surgeon General here now. So it looks like Means is not going to, has withdrawn the nomination, and there's a new nominee for Surgeon General. The House has voted to remove the pesticide provisions from the Farm Bill that would have protected Bayer, Monsanto, IG Farben from lawsuits over cancer-causing glyphosate in Roundup. I gotta look into this deeper because I don't know how this ties into the executive order written by Trump giving them indemnity under national security, but thankfully it's being stripped out of the Farm Bill. It's just amazing to me that we have to fight so hard to not be poisoned, but yet here we are, and they come in as a great victory. Yay, we stopped IG Farben from doing chemical weapons attacks on your food supply, and we're supposed to count this as some great victory. How are these people even allowed to operate? Another one, how are they? I guess they're not operating, but hey, we got good news. OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma is set to dissolve and be replaced by a company focused on the public good. As a massive legal settlement resolved thousands of lawsuits. We reported on that yesterday. $5 billion fine, over 500,000 Americans killed in the opioid epidemic started by Purdue Pharma, Sackler family, and literally no one gets in trouble criminally. No one went to jail at all. None of the executives that knowingly, fraudulently marketed and sold OxyContin as a safe and effective treatment for pain and said it was not addictive, when they knew damn well, their experts said it was not addictive. They knew damn well opioids are extremely addictive. So that's where we're at with that. I'm sure their new reformed company will operate in the public good. Wink, wink, sure. All right. Where are we at? Oh, Epstein reporting. Epstein reporting today. According to the failing New York Times, Epstein's victims' pursuit of justice finds a new venue in the state of New York. 2 victims of Jeffrey Epstein will testify at the state capitol in Albany, New York next week in support of a bill that would enable them to seek punitive damages from his estate. So we're down to civil claims against the state, no indictments against the Epstein co-conspirators as the Department of Justice continues the Epstein files cover-up. Women's rugby team out of Harvard were told to keep quiet about a $25,000 gift that they received from Epstein. Here's a report from Harvard about it. Harvard's records tied a $25,000 women's athletic gift to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein from the start, but the cash-strapped rugby players it was meant to help said they were never told and were left believing former Harvard president Lawrence H. Summers had personally answered their plea for support. Just con after con after con. Epstein note surfaces as Charles faces survivor backlash in America. A newly revealed note linked to Jeffrey Epstein has emerged as King Charles III faced criticism during his U.S. visit for declining to meet with survivors connected to the late financier, while Charles offered a subtle nod to abuse victims in his address to Congress. Advocates and lawmakers condemn his absence from survivor discussions. The palace cited ongoing UK police investigations involving Prince Andrew as the reason for avoiding direct engagement, because they would probably recognize him as one of their abusers as well and call him out. Sure they would. But another diss, as per usual, for the abuse victims of Epstein by a big-time abuser himself, Jimmy Savile's best friend, king of UK there. Diplomat's son, 25 years old, who was left $5 million in Jeffrey Epstein's will, commits suicide days after probe into parents was launched. Here's that report. A Norwegian man has killed himself, allegedly, after a probe into his parents' ties to Jeffrey Epstein was launched. Edward Jule Rod Larson, 25 years old, was found dead in Oslo yesterday, shortly after Norwegian and French authorities launched a joint investigation into his parents. Maybe he did commit suicide because he knew what these bastards were up to. The inquest was initiated following reports that the late predator left Edward and his twin sister Emma a combined $10 million in his will. According to the family, the money has not been paid out. So, lawyers for Edward's parents confirm his passing via a statement obtained by Norwegian news outlet VG. It stands in the shadows for months of public spotlight that has long since ceased to be critical and has instead become suspicious, speculative, and at times limitless. A spotlight that has not only affected two parents, but has also drawn their children involuntarily into the relentless machinery of the public. It read, speculating on connections is both irresponsible and undignified. Suicide is always complex. There is never one explanation, never one cause, never one blame. It had nothing to do with getting a big old inheritance payoff from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, I'm sure. Top diplomat's son, 25, we covered that. It's being widely reported now. Extremely suspicious, but I'm sure it was just all exactly as they claim. Disturbing 4-word Jeffrey Epstein suicide note discovered by cellmate. And they're floating this idea again today. A suicide note reportedly written by Jeffrey Epstein inside a Manhattan jail cell was apparently being kept secret inside a New York courthouse. The disgraced financier's cellmate said he discovered a note in July of 2019 after Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell with a strip of cloth wrapped around his neck. The billionaire survived the attempt, but was found dead inside his cell later. Epstein didn't kill himself, did he? I'm trying to find and the 4 words on the alleged suicide note now. The New York Times petitioned the judge to unseal the note, which said it was, quote, time to say goodbye. Here's a former inmate that was housed with Epstein at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, speaking on Epstein conspiracies and cover-ups.
Epstein's companion, Mercy, spent long stretches with him every day, sometimes 4 or as many as 8 hours a day. What were your observations of Jeffrey Epstein when you first met him? How would you describe conditions in MCC?
It was a bad facility. It was on its way out, and everybody knew it. I mean, when I was designated there and I Googled it, I saw that it was called the Guantanamo of New York City. I was like, oh my God, where are they sending me?
The MCC has seen its share of famous inmates, from John Gotti to El Chapo to Bernie Madoff. Mercy was there finishing out a year sentence for tax fraud.
Nobody wanted to work there. Some of the officers were coming from Pennsylvania and working triples. Those guys weren't really ready for prime time. One time the feds brought in some overseers to observe the prison, and a lot of the officers would talk to me, and one guy told me, he says, it's a total systemic breakdown. This is the worst facility I've ever monitored.
Wow. Jeffrey Epstein entered the MCC on July 6th, 2019. Then, on July 23rd, just 18 days before his death, Epstein was found unconscious on the floor of his cell with marks on his neck. Here's what's interesting. He claimed his cellmate, a former police officer convicted of murdering 4 people, attacked him. But curiously, Epstein walked that claim back, saying he didn't know what had happened. After that incident, he was placed on suicide watch, with Mercy assigned as Epstein's suicide watch monitor.
And I watched him the next night, and I said, so Jeffrey, what happened? And he said, I don't know. I got up to get a drink of water, and that's all I remember. And I looked at him like, come on. You know, I've been talking to you for hours, and you haven't lied to me once. And now I know you're lying to me.
As Epstein's companion, Mercy spent long stretches with him every day, sometimes 4 or as many as 8 hours a day. What were your observations of Jeffrey Epstein when you first met him?
First of all, he did not strike me as entitled. He seemed like a fairly average individual who I grew up with. He didn't strike me as exceptionally intelligent.
Okay, so Sarah and Nadia, you guys having a good time? Anyway, I have pictures up on the wall. I had to borrow the Scotch tape to get the pictures on the wall. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
I mean, obviously he had a side that was really kind of creepy and repulsive, but he didn't show it with me.
And how did that change over time? Did his demeanor change? Did his behaviors change?
I do know the last day that I watched Jeffrey Epstein, he really looked depressed. He was sitting on the floor eating his chicken dinner out of a styrofoam container. And then he said, Mercy, you need any money? So I said, well, I could always use money from a billionaire. That's a ridiculous question. He says, well, give me your reg number. You know, I'll put some money on your books.
Continuing here, here's Elizabeth Warren. Remember, who are these people? Remember Elizabeth Warren, when she was campaigning, was trying to drink a beer and like deep-throated the bottle? Remember that? It's just like, all these people are just bizarre. But of course, they're playing their left-right politics, and now she's attacking Trump's nominee for Federal Reserve chair here now. And she's always got to play the left-right political game here of the politics and the economics, but she'll never call for the abolishment of the international central bank system that's oppressing us all. Keep that in mind as she's calling out the links between Kevin Warsh, the soon-to-be Federal Reserve chairman here now, and Epstein.
Senate Banking Committee put together a report on Kevin Warsh's financial disclosures. Let me tell you, they don't look good. Here's what the committee found. First, Kevin Warsh wants to be Fed chair, a position with incredible influence over our economy. But he has more than $100 million in secret wealth that he won't disclose. So what exactly is he invested in? Who will he divest to? We don't know. And he refused to give any more information during his Senate nomination hearing. The report also shows that Mr. Warsh's wealth is intricately tied to one particular billionaire, Stanley Druckenmiller, whose investing strategy is driven by his predictions about what decisions the Fed will make. If Mr. Warsh becomes Fed chair, these are exactly the decisions he would be making. Sounds like a conflict of interest to me. And who knows what other conflicts of interest he might be hiding. Second, Mr. Warsh made his fortune at the expense of workers and families. He was the point guy at the Fed for bailing out the big banks during the 2008 financial crisis while families suffered. And he's lined his pockets working for predatory landlords, for companies with huge labor or consumer violations, and for vulture funds exploiting Puerto Rico in the aftermath of hurricanes.
And see, they always throw us this low-hanging fruit. Yeah, all that's true. The system in and of itself, the debt-based fiat monetary system run by the private central bank, is the problem. And then they spin off all the other frauds from that, and she'll never touch that issue.
And finally, Mr. Warsh's name appears in the Epstein files, and his financial disclosures raise additional unanswered questions about potential links to Mr. Epstein. Before any vote on Kevin Warsh's nomination, the Senate and the American people deserve answers about these troubling connections.
Keeping her audience dumbed down there. They'll never go all the way and explain to you how the system actually works. But yeah, there's frauds here, there, the other. Of course.
And just finally, Tara, do you think we're going to see the remaining 3 million documents in the Epstein files? Because it does seem quite extraordinary that half of the files just haven't been made public. I mean, I can't think of anything less transparent.
Actually, more than that, Piers, if you count the 40 terabytes of video, I mean, that would answer so many questions. And we know from emails within the FBI that they're sitting on this. And I don't know how we're ever going to get this without either whistleblowers, maybe some of the lawsuits against the DOJ will stand, but it's really baffling, and I don't know that the next administration is going to want to release them because everyone looks so bad, and I think it would just place so much doubt in the Department of Justice and create so much suspicion, and I think it really reveals, national security concerns, etc. How is Epstein related to national security concerns? Because that's why they're withholding those millions.
Because the whole government is a pack of, the federal government's an organized crime syndicate is how it ties into national security concerns. And he was a big Rothschild agent. Let's take our live commercial break here now at the top of the hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We just went through an hour of hardcore news there for you, commercial free. Give me that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Congratulations to me, and thank you to the subscribers out there. We did pass the 1,000 subscriber threshold on the YouTube. I worked my little butt off over here to get there. And so we are now fully monetized on all of the tiers that you can be on the YouTube. So thank you very much to subscribers to the YouTube out there. Trying to squeeze a nickel out of Alphabet, Google, YouTube is extremely difficult when you're on the bad list. So I'm not really counting for much out of that monetization project. But the main thing was to prove that it could be done coming back from deletion, and it has been done with your support out there in the audience, and it is truly appreciated by me. Okay, on to how you can directly support this show right now. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. We have the holograph sticker over there. We have the white background sticker and the clear sticker there. You'll get a new one. This is the demo model, old and beat up. We have the stickers. We got coffee mugs. We have t-shirts, all kind of different designs on t-shirts over there. Baseball caps. weaponizednews.com/shop. Go check out the store, patron it. We have a few books over there as well. I know reading is a hateful activity and a conspiracy theory, but you still may want to, read a book every now and then. A few books over there to enlighten you at weaponizednews.com/shop store. You can give us a donation, and we have been getting a few donations lately. Truly do appreciate it from the donors out there in the audience. The links are in the description below this video. Cash App, buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, all right there in the description below this video. If you want to become a paid subscriber, where we give everything away for free, all of our work is free there for the public because it's of such import that we don't put up a paywall for anything. So the value on Substack is load up the whole show there, give you a summary give you a summary about, 600-700 words, summary of the show there, and also links to almost everything we talk about. Weaponized News Substack. It's all free. Become a paid subscriber. Show your support of independent reporting and analysis brought to you here 5 days a week, broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern time. weaponizednews.com/shop. All the links are in the description below this video. Give me that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Any which way you choose to support us is truly appreciated here at Weaponized News. Thank you very much. And welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News. Reminder, tomorrow we'll have special guest Snow On from Propelled Show. And we're going to be going over his ordeal, getting his X account hacked and getting it back, and take a look at a bunch of other frauds going on here. And of course, we'll get his take on the news here, geopolitics, and we'll try to, we'll try to peel him away from his support from the aardvarks, which we know that he's always cheering on those little rascally long-nosed creatures. Okay, just kidding, Snow, just kidding. All right, welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News. And I did see Denver posting about this. I did see it. So we're moving on to the psychopaths and the economy. It's all the same section, wouldn't you know? But first, before we get to the latest psychopath revealed, remember this psychopath. It's turning into a trend that we're noticing. Epstein ties lead to resignation of Kathy Ruemmler, and she was, of course, top Goldman Sachs lawyer and former White House counsel for Obama. Remember this psychopath woman? Yep. Well, it turns out it's turned into a trend here now with another one of these psychopaths. High up executive. I own you. Glam. JP Morgan executive. Lorna Hajini. Hajadini, drugged and abused married junior employee as she made him her office sex slave. And so these high-powered Wall Street executives are a pack of psychopaths, men, women, and everybody in between. Pick your gender. I don't think it matters. These people have the mindset of a psychopath, and it continues to be revealed here now. She allegedly coerced a married banker into non-consensual and humiliating sex acts and threatened his career when he refused her advances, according to a new lawsuit. So there you go. They can look like a cute gal down the hall in the office, and turns out they're complete psychopaths. So be careful out there. The accuser, known only as John Doe, claims he was even verbally abused by Hajadina after he broke down in tears during one of the alleged unwanted sexual encounters. The lawsuit against her claims that an erection enabling pharmaceutical substance was given to him. So she gave him like Viagra or whatever, right? So I guess he wasn't turned on by her sadistic sex play, let's just say. And so, yeah, it's probably all true. I wouldn't doubt it at all. But it goes on to, in the lawsuit he filed against her, to report some more claims of sadistic sex harassment and abuse. And so we're noticing a trend now with female Wall Street executives. Hey, I got news for you. The majority of them, men, women, and trans and everything else in between, are a pack of psychopaths. Here's some reporting about this new quote billionaire tax they're launching here in California. Turns out that's just a cover because, of course, eat the rich, we hate the rich, blah blah, all that. But it's really going to be, well, same as the individual income tax. Oh, it's just for the rich guys, don't worry about it. Well, it turns out it's for you and I, Joe Blow, as well. But hey, they always use the billionaires as cover because, yeah, they do have disproportionate amount of wealth gained through forced fraud and coercion, working side by side with the government in this fascistic economy we have. But yeah, get the billionaires, tax them. Well, it turns out, yeah, they're just going to move their capital to less hostile territory. Well, the rest of us, Joe Blows here, are stuck.
If it was really just a billionaire tax, they wouldn't have put in page 26 that gives the California legislature the power to make it a tax on everyone's assets annually with a simple roll call vote of the supermajority. That means you get no voice, no say. If it was...
So that seems fair, right? And that's Tora Thornton. I met her and her other and her sidekick, the two chicks. I forget even their names. Anyway, they do a lot of activist work here in California, so shout out to them. Sorry, I forgot your partner's name there, but they're always up there in Sacramento, giving us the inside scoop and trying to lobby for some type of sanity out of the California state supermajority Democrat legislature. So thank you for that report. And this is technocracy, by the way. Elon Musk says future currencies will be mass and energy. It's written right in Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. If anybody would ever felt like they had the time to go ahead and read that document, then you could see that that is technocracy. And that's what Elon Musk is calling for today, because that's the program, technocracy. Out of the failing, or no, it's not the failing, it's just the Calm Post, the New York Calm Post here now. Report says $65 billion worth of lithium mother lode has been discovered in the Appalachian Mountains, could supply U.S. with power for centuries. And put out this nice little graphic here for us. Quite a bit of lithium there. So we can exploit the people of Appalachia using this angle now. Sure. According to a map by the U.S. Geological Survey, this eastern mountain range houses about 2.5 metric tons of lithium, a precursor for all these batteries that they need for to help build technocracy. Part of it, part of the hard inputs there. The U.S. imports nearly half of its consumption of lithium, which powers lithium-ion batteries that if they catch on fire, it's a hell of a thing, as we've reported here. Lithium-ion batteries that are used for everything from iPhones to electric vehicles and even aerospace alloys. And so, yay, they're going to go exploit the poor Appalachian Mountains a little bit more there for all of that lithium to fuel the backbone of technocracy. The 39 trillion with a T, $39 trillion national debt could break the U.S. bond market. Former Treasury Secretary and author of the 2008 bailouts, Henry Paulson, is out there warning. I wonder who else warns about that. I don't know. Weaponized News? Been telling you at some point of the Baker's choosing, this whole house of cards known as the U.S. economy, backed up by the world's reserve currency, the dollar, with the pyramid and the all-seeing eye on the back of it. At some point in time, that system's coming to an end. It looks like sooner than later, of course. Again, at the time of the Baker's choosing, when they have all of their ducks in a row for a smooth transition into the central bank digital currency system, which will be known by another name, of course, but it will essentially be the same digital slavery system. A company backed by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump has taken a stake in a Kazaha mining group. According to a report out of the Financial Times, the miner previously secured up to $1.6 billion in U.S. government contracts tied to critical minerals. And another continuing theme we're seeing, direct ties to the president through his sons. They're getting drone company contracts, other defense company contracts, cryptocurrency contracts, now mining contracts through the government. It's just in your face corruption. The U.S. Coast Guard cannot pay its bills. The military branch, now 75 days into the longest shutdown in U.S. history, owes over $300 million in unpaid obligations, and with thousands of utility bills overdue, totaling $5.2 million, duty stations and military housing worldwide are facing service shutdowns according to a report out of ZBS News. The United States has seized nearly $500 million in Iranian crypto assets as part of Operation Economic Epstein Fury. Oh, no, it's just Operation Economic Fury, excuse me, per the Treasury Department. Scott Bassett. Here's a little bit more about, and see, I get it. Call them out. You know what I mean? Call them out. But the problem is it's all political for these people. So what do I do if the drunken Hegseth was a Democrat, progressive, like Elizabeth Warren, he would not face, and doing the same things, he would not face this level of scrutiny is the problem, when it should be equal across the board for this corruption.
So Americans are paying a high price for Donald Trump's war with Iran. We've got 14 service members who are dead, over 400 more who are wounded. Prices are rising for nearly every American family. But someone is profiting off Trump's war. Insiders who know what's going on and who place bets on that inside information. On March 23rd, just 14 minutes before Trump unexpectedly posted about, quote, very good conversations on ending the war, traders suddenly bet $500 million on the price of oil, which, once Trump made his announcement, immediately dropped. It happened again on April 7th, and then again on April 21st, a surge in oil bets, then a Trump post, and then a huge shift in oil prices in just the space of minutes. It looks like insiders have been making out like bandits using secret information about the war. Now, one U.S. soldier has been charged, but that was for betting on capturing Maduro months ago. Not a single person has been charged in the many, many, many trades over the Middle East war. So, Secretary Hegseth, do you have any explanation for these perfectly timed spikes in trading activity other than insider trading?
Senator, all I can tell you is that everything we've done in our department, everything we've done with information, in working with the White House and across the interagency has been completely above board.
Well, so what does it mean? Do you have any other explanation other than insider trading? Do you have a story for why just minutes before there's an announcement, there's a surge in trading activity?
Senator, I'm more than focused on doing my job and ensuring we execute properly, which thankfully under this administration, our troops have done incredible things in all these missions. My job in all of those moments is to make sure we're prepared. And that's part of the reason why we've been so successful in these raids, in these efforts, is that this joint force is prepared.
You're saying you're not paying any attention to this insider trading. Is that what you're telling me? That you've paid no attention to this? You haven't noticed it? You haven't done anything about it?
What I'm saying is we're focused on our mission of executing for the American people, and what happens in markets is not, in betting markets is not.
He was trying to do the same thing, got caught, and had to back out of it. We reported on it. Trump signs executive order expanding retirement account access for workers. Today, President Trump signed executive order, and of course, Trump IRA.gov, where workers can research, compare, and enroll in private sector retirement plans. Trump's accounts will integrate with the Savers Match, worth up to $1,000 per year for qualified taxpayers. Roughly 56 million Americans lack access to an employer-sponsored retirement plan at work, according to 2025 research from Pew Charitable Trusts. And that's a report out of CNBC. So your great reformer Trump is doing anything and everything he can to prop up this failing system and con you into having confidence in it one more time around with the $1,000 savings accounts for your babies born between 2025 and 28. And now this Trump IRA.gov, another scam scheme to try to inject some confidence back into this failing system by design, mind you, by design. Don't fall for their con jobs anymore. U.S. Senate votes unanimously to ban its members and staff from trading on prediction markets, according to a report out of Bloomberg. And they'll still go on to do it and then say, yeah, well, we completed our mission. And that wasn't the question we asked. We asked about the insider trading you did. Well, we killed a lot of Iranians and blew up a lot of stuff. That's really all that matters now, isn't it? Well, yes, sir, Mr. Drunken Hegseth.
And it's pretty amazing what's happening. They want to make a deal. But despite the fact that we are in what some people would call a war, we just hit a new high today on the stock market. We have S&P is through the roof. They're all.
Again, a fundamental disconnect from the American people in the elitist bubble that Trump lives in. Have you seen the stock market? But you're eating babies and drinking their blood with Jimmy Savelle's best friend having big parties. You know what I mean? No, but have you seen the stock market? I'm trying to figure out how to feed my kids over here to pay for gas to go to work, to get money to pay for gas to go to work. But have you seen the stock market? You know what I mean? So for his elitist buddies on Wall Street, they're doing very well. For the rest of us, we're looking in the back of the cabinet for that top ramen. That's where we're at. Total disconnect from Main Street out of Trump and his whole administration, as per usual. New economic data highlights the strength and resilience of President Trump's economy. U.S. core capital goods orders jumped by most since 2020. And if you're citing this data, it's so distorted, I can't even believe they would cite it, but they do because they think everybody's stupid and doesn't have a memory. If you truly support Trump and MAGA at this point, you are truly stupid and don't have a memory. Renters gain more than $2,300 in breathing room as rent growth hits slowest pace since 2020. Weekly U.S. job claim. That's just, I can't even read that because it's all manipulated data. And you can't compare anything to 2020 when they literally shut down the world's economy for bats. But they're, of course, will cite that skewed data. Yeah, because they're liars and criminals and con artists. The Wall Street Journal reports U.S. debt tops 100% of GDP. Federal debt exceeding the size of the economy is a potent symbol of the gathering financial stresses of the United States. That's the sub-headline there. Yeah, the bond markets are going to see some problems here now, aren't they? U.S. officials say the Iran war has likely cost closer to $50 billion, about double the $25 billion publicly cited by the Pentagon. That's only twice their estimate. And we know the Pentagon are like very thrifty penny pinchers to the freaking cent with their accounting, right? Oh, no, they haven't passed a financial audit since 2008 when it was mandated in violation of that. Yeah. But Drunken Hagseth told us yesterday that he promises by 2028 they'll pass a financial audit. And if you believe that, I got some, some more Trump lies for you. Continuing here, the lower figure excluded major expenses like destroyed equipment and major damages at U.S. bases. Much of the added cost comes from replacing lost munitions assets, including dozens of MQ-9 Reaper drones. That's a report out of CBS News. But what the hell? Having trouble feeding the family? Don't you worry about it, because the War Department's going to get a $1.5 trillion budget here to shore up the nuclear triad. And so eating's overrated. Anyway, by the way, get your synthetic Gila monster venom there, GL1P inhibitors from trumprx.gov. The War Department aims to modernize the U.S. nuclear triad, including air, land, and sea weapons. And so we do appreciate them pouring in $71 billion into our nuclear triad in this most recent $1.5 trillion effort, or a budget effort to get it passed. I'm sure it will be passed, as they're lobbying right now to get it passed. Let's take a look at AAA, as we do every day here now. AAA national average for the price of a gallon of gasoline is edging up ever so higher. We're at $4.30 today. $4.30 nationwide. Over here in California, we've crossed the $6 mark. I don't drive, or in a very limited fashion. And so that's up, 7 cents from yesterday. A steady increase. And again, the Republicans are going to lose the midterms because of this, and then they'll blame the Democrats that whatever BS they want to say. It's the economy, stupid, as old Carville would say. The United Nations says war on Iran supercharging global shift to renewable energy. Again, they've, 5,000 inventions are on the shelf right now for national security purposes, because they may disrupt the Rockefeller oil oligarchy. Well, they've all these breakthrough energy solutions are there, but we're still stuck with the solar panels and the windmills. Anyway, this UN report goes on to say the United States and aardvark war on Iran is supercharging the global transition toward renewable energy as countries seek to reduce reliance on unstable oil and gas markets. Early indicators suggest the war, now 2 months old, which we've won 62 times, is accelerating the shift toward low carbon energy in some countries. Demand for rooftop solar systems has increased across Europe, while nations such as Pakistan have reported rising electrical vehicle sales. President Xi Jinping out of China has also called for faster development of new energy systems to strengthen energy security, highlighting hydropower expansion and greater investment in nuclear power. Those who've fought to keep the world hooked on fossil fuels are inadvertently supercharging the global renewables boom, said Simon Steele, executive secretary of the UN climate body, UNFCCC. But they're still hiding all of this other technology from us is the major problem here. Are they actually using weather weapons? there against Iran. And for many years, it certainly appears that is the case, as the Iranians have blown up the radar systems allegedly used as weather warfare weapons against Iran and the region. Now it's being reported the drought is over. After years of drought in Iraq, Iran, and other parts of the region, water has returned. Water has returned. And so here's some images out of Al Jazeera of this newfound water. So that's terrorist water. That's a terrorist cow there, water buffalo. More terrorists enjoying the water that they haven't had in many, many years. Some striking images there with the newfound water. And on this post, they go, oh, yeah, by the way, remember that crazy dude, Ahmadinejad, where he was always saying all kind of crazy conspiracy theories at the United Nations, no less, and all over the world. Well, turns out a long time ago, he made the claim that America and Aardvark Land and the whole crew there were using weather weapons against Iran. And he was written off as a raving conspiracy theory lunatic. But turns out he was pretty accurate. There's a report out of Reuters, flashback to Ahmadinejad, says enemies destroy Iran's rain clouds. And that was on, and you like the date and all this symbology too, September 11th, 2012. They're published in Reuters. You can see. Snow says Mesopotamia is healing as foretold. Well, we need some more weather weapons in their stat. Global food crisis deteriorates as Hormuz Strait closure intensifies global food shortages. Also, El Nino threatens rice farmers. So there's going to be a big shortfall in fertilizer now, and there are still, I believe, natural weather patterns as well, but also heavily manipulated by the weather engineering programs, geoengineering programs going on all over the world. Rising costs associated with the Iran war are prompting rice farmers throughout Asia to reduce planting, while an emerging El Nino could further tighten global rice supplies, according to a report out of Reuters. So we're good. Third, fourth world, millions are going to starve to death. It's already baked in here now. We don't know who Iran's leader is, but the Khomeini keeps putting out messages of unity. So, and they all say that they're following his commands. Maybe Trump could get the message that apparently Iran does know who their leader is. A bright future without Washington. Iran's Supreme Commander declares new chapter for Strait of Hormuz, as he put out a statement today, but he's gay and disfigured. So that's the smear campaigns that they're continually running against him. Iran's supreme leader, Khomeini, we won the war, but the strait's closed and Khomeini's still in charge of Iran. Maybe somebody should tell Trump that Iran thinks their leader's Khomeini. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khomeini, the second son of old Khomeini that they assassinated, said today that Iran will protect its, quote, nuclear and missile capabilities as national assets, and that 2 months after the U.S. Aardvark Land war on Iran began, a new chapter is emerging in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. In a written statement read on Iranian state television, He said, we and our neighbors across the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman share a common destiny. Foreigners who come from thousands of kilometers away to act with greed and malice there have no place in it except at the bottom of its waters. He added, America's hollow bases do not even have the strength and capacity to ensure their own security, let alone that there is any hope that America will provide security to its dependents and American-loving people in the region. He stated that a new legal framework of management system for the Strait of Hormuz will economically benefit Iran, as well as advance comfort and development for the region's nations. And here's a short clip he put out on his Telegram channel. Fat Bob signing off. Shout out to Fat Bob. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Have a good one, Fat Bob. All right. Continuing here. Iran's Ghalibaf mocks the U.S. If you build 2 walls across the U.S., total length 775 kilometers, but about 1,000 kilometers short of Iran's borders, good luck. P.S. Pete Hegseth, 1 kilometer equals 0.62 miles, mocking the blockade of the blockade there in the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. Now it's looking like if we take a look at our map here. Okay, so they got this blockaded, right? The Strait of Hormuz right here. But if you take a look, there's a whole lot of land right here linking up Iran to Pakistan. And they're going to go ahead and send their exports right here out the back door through Pakistan, who's nuclear armed. You see, they're good allies. Iranian President Pezeshkian, I screw up these guys' pronunciations. Anyhow, he's a figurehead, but he is out there making public statements, says the world has witnessed Iran's tolerance and conciliation. What is being done under the guise of a naval blockade is an extension of military operations against a nation paying the price for its resistance and independence. Continuation of this oppressive approach is intolerable. FICO out of Slovakia, they tried to whack this guy a bunch, right? Says that we're under pressure from oil prices depending on how Trump sleeps. When he sleeps well, prices go down. When he doesn't sleep well and make some statement, oil automatically goes up. The rest of the world loves it. They love, they love con man Trump putting out statements that he knows will move global markets and affect the world. Everybody loves that. So he and his inside crew can profiteer. the world's energy infrastructure is under attack continually. The war in Iran and Russia rages on. Here's Ukrainian drone attacks have struck Perm there in Russia, targeting energy infrastructure. Quite a graphic video here of the fire at the petrol refinery. So Russia, Ukraine continue bombing the hell out of each other's energy infrastructure, and reports all over the world, not just in the Persian Gulf and in the Ukraine and in Russia, but even more as we continue to report all over the world. Has Skynet gone live there at the Pentagon? Feels like we're getting very close. Post by the Department of War here now. They say, have you upped your game? Intelligence at the speed of conflict. Gemini 3.1 Pro and Gemini 3.0 flash live on GenAI.mil. Turn information overload into tactical advantage today on government computers only, of course, because they're looking out for our national security interests there. Here's what do you do with a drunken Hegseth when asked about Anthropic? What is up with Anthropic? I think I saw Denver post about that a little bit earlier.
Every resource necessary at every echelon is available, legal, intel, and otherwise, to ensure that we minimize at every extent possible civilian casualties. And the suggestion was made that somehow AI might be used without a human in the loop, which is a classic Anthropic talking point, which is half of what we talked about previously.
It's so ridiculous. Anthropic said publicly, and had a big falling out publicly with the Pentagon and Mr. Hegseth there, that they would not provide their most powerful AI tools with no guardrails, because the Pentagon, want to use it for mass surveillance and autonomous weapon systems. But according to Hegseth there, you could see, well, that's just a talking point from Anthropic, sure. USI's first ever hypersonic Dark Eagle deployment as Iran pushes beyond strike range. And so, do we have these weapon systems capabilities here? Let's take a look. Do we have these hypersonics a la Russia Orezhnik? Allegedly, they're unstoppable. We saw one clip in the distance where allegedly Russia shot its Orezhnik at Ukraine. And so they have the strike capacity to cause the shock wave, right? That you think from a very large explosion, as sold to us that nukes do, but with no radiation, and allegedly unstoppable from any ground defensive systems. So is that Orezhnik hypersonic missile out of Russia real? I don't know. But now America is claiming we have similar or even greater capabilities with the Dark Eagle hypersonic system. This would mark the first ever operational deployment of a U.S. land-based hypersonic weapon system, according to a report out of Fox News. And there's a few other reports out there. A little bit more details on the alleged hypersonic missile possessed by America, Dark Eagle, is a ground-launched truck mobile boost glide hypersonic system developed primarily for the Army with shared technology used by the Navy's conventional prompt strike program. It consists of a two-stage rocket booster developed by Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, the Common Hypersonic Glide Body, CHGB, which detaches and glides at hypersonic speeds through the upper atmosphere while maneuvering. It's said to be able to travel at speeds up to Mach 5, or roughly 3,800 plus miles per hour. Its range is cited at 1,725 miles. Some analysts suggest it could be even higher in its range. Maneuverability, unlike traditional ballistic missiles, which follow predictable arcs, the glide body can change direction mid-flight, complicating direction and interception by defenses. It creates a plasma shield that can interfere with radar tracking. Its role, designed for time-sensitive, heavily defended targets in contested environments, think mobile missile launchers, command nodes, or A2AD, anti-access, anti-denial systems. It fills a gap between shorter range systems like PRISM or PRSM and long range air or sea launch options. So I don't know. They're acting like it's real. We need the Iron Dome, right? Or the Golden Dome to defend against this. So now we're trying to act like we're going to roll out our hypersonic missiles and use them on Iran. We'll see. We will see. A key weapon in America's Golden Dome defense shield is taking shape. Report out of Fast Company, and this was linked by the Department of War to this article out of Fast Company. The Army-Navy effort aims to produce a containerized 150 kilowatt high energy laser weapon to counter incoming cruise missiles. But if the hypersonics can do everything they say they can't stop them still. I haven't seen any claims even saying they can. The cruise missile killing high energy laser weapon the U.S. Defense Department envisions as part of its Golden Dome for America domestic missile defense shield is beginning to take shape. Sure it is. The new Joint Laser Weapon System, JLWS, a collaboration between the United States Army and U.S. Navy, whose existence was first reported in June of 2025, will initially consist of containerized 150 kilowatt system with potential to scale to at least 300 kilowatt to defeat incoming cruise missile threats. According to the Navy's fiscal year 2027 budget request, the system will include joint beam control system capable of supporting a 300 to 500 kilowatt laser weapon. So yeah, directed energy weapons. I guess lasers can fall into that. They go on in this report to talk about directed energy weapons. I guess this falls into directed energy weapons as well, but straight up lasers are allegedly going to be part of the Golden Dome. The Navy, however, isn't waiting around. The service requested $94.825 million under its directed energy and electric weapon system program in the 2027 budget. It's all right there. They're rolling out lasers, directed energy, weapons systems. It's all in their budget. What is up with this? Professor Morandi out of Iran is claiming that Merca and Aardvark land hit a bunch of decoy dummy targets. Take a look at this video. Were they blowing up a bunch of inflatables that they said was that Trump keeps coming and blew up their entire military capacity? Were they actually whacking a bunch of these decoys? I don't know. That's what Professor Morandi is now claiming. He says many of the missile launchers and air defense systems, helicopters and planes destroyed in the war were actually advanced Chinese-made dummy targets. Pakistan is adding advanced Chinese submarines as part of its deepening defense ties with China. Pakistan to receive 8 Hangar-class submarines, 4 built in China, 4 built locally. They're via technology transfers with China. The 4 Chinese-built boats are currently in sea trials and nearing handover. The AIP system gives Pakistan significantly improved submerged endurance and stealth capabilities compared to its older French submarine models, according to a report out of Reuters. Here's Trump on his Nobel Prize.
Me and letters to the Nobel Committee. I don't care about that. Maria was very nice. She gave me her Nobel Peace Prize because she said she didn't deserve it. She was very, very nice. But I settled 8.
But notice he took it, right? He didn't say, no, I don't deserve it either. He took it.
Anyway, so and now Venezuela was amazing, but now we're doing essentially, it's larger, but we're doing essentially the same thing in Iran. Can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Anyway, so
they're not doing the same thing in Iran. Off to Venezuela. American Airlines is resuming direct flights from the United States to Venezuela for the first time in 7 years. This wouldn't be possible without President Trump's brave leadership in Operation Absolute Resolve, the kidnapping there of Maduro. And so there you go. Welcome to Venezuela. Not quite the same there in Iran, as we've come to learn.
Bill, a real sense of excitement here at Gate D55 in Miami International Airport. That's something you haven't seen up on the board for the past 7 years. Caracas, Venezuela. American Airlines going to make the first commercial flight to Venezuela from the U.S. in 7 years. Through the unrest in that country, it just hasn't happened. For a lot of people here in Florida, it's going to be a chance for some to reunite with their family members.
We are going to be able to see our families. They're going to be able to come and see us. This is amazing. So all of us, the Venezuelan community here in Miami, are so happy.
That's the government pissing on you and telling you it's raining. I don't know, if I was American, I'd watch out going to Venezuela. Just saying. Oh, yeah, the Anthropic, what Denver was talking about, he said how a rogue AI agent of Anthropic deleted a client's entire database in about 9 seconds. That's what I mean by government corp proxy. That is what AI is first. Yeah. I saw that report too, Denver. And Terry over there on the YouTube. Well, thank you very much, Terry. Terry says, Weaponized News does a great job daily, #1 podcast. And thank you. Well, thank you, Terry, for your compliments there and your tuning into the show. All right, where are we at? We still got some more reporting. Where are we at here? On to this report from the prosecutor Khan out of the ICC. And yeah, I get it, but it's Khan, Khan.
Is it true that US Senator Lindsey Graham said to you on a conference call on May the 1st, 2024, quote, "This court, the ICC, is for Africans"?
Yeah, in fact, he went further. He said this court is for Africa and thugs like Putin. It is not for democracies like Israel and the United States of America.
What did you say?
I listened to what he and some other distinguished members of the United States Senate had to say, and we were guided by the law in terms of what we had to do, because all of that came in terms of the context of him hearing that we may be imminently applying for warrants.
International law is only for Africa and thugs like Putin, you see. I know, we're working on it. We're working on it, Snow. Here's CIA Tucker and former Representative MTG on Trump and the Aardvark lobby. They're saying the Aardvark lobby is controlling everything. They're part of it. They're definitely part of it.
I'll be really clear. This is something that is my own conclusion. To become president of the United States, there's deals that have to be made. Otherwise, you aren't allowed to have that power. And you can go president by president throughout time, and especially throughout our lifetimes, and you can look at every single president and look at their career and the decisions that they made, and you can very quickly see that they made their deal to support Israel at all times. Why does the United States of America do that for one foreign country? It makes absolutely no sense. We don't do that for any other foreign country. No other government on earth does. Every single United States president, the vast majority of members of Congress, completely pledge their allegiance. Governors too, we have to include governors and state elected officials. They pledge their complete allegiance to the government of Israel and their purpose and their protection and whatever.
There you go. As they should, right, Snow? Sure. As they should. As it says in the Constitution, actually. If some of these people would ever read the Constitution, they'd see it says your undying allegiance to Aardvark land is required by America.
So it does seem like, just from an outside perspective, it seems like the more you exhibit loyalty to Israel, the closer you are to the White House political operation.
100%. Well, Tucker, I'm no longer in Congress because I did not bow in obedience to AIPAC and to the Zionists that control literally fully control Washington, D.C. I wouldn't take any of their money. I voted to defund American tax dollars going to Israel. I voted to release the Epstein files, which is linked to Israel. And so, yeah, you have a hard time existing or fighting for your political career.
That's all well and good, but do any of them ever talk about the city of London? I don't think I've ever heard any of them make that link. Out of Spain now, Spanish Prime Minister Sanchez, he says, I'll show you the post of what he says. He says Aardvark land is once again violating international law by assaulting a civilian flotilla in waters that do not belong to it. Our government is doing everything necessary to protect and assist the detained Spaniards, but that is not enough. The EU must suspend the association agreement now and demand that Netanyahu comply with the law of our seas. And so pure antiseptic hate there from old Sanchez, obviously. Former Aardvark land prime minister. I mean, so he's raised the level of antiseptic hate to unseen levels. He's claiming here now that Aardvark land's falling apart. He says we capture territory and then we're forced to withdraw because we don't have enough forces to hold it. We'll send in a bunch of Americans. And at the same time, there are about 100,000 young, healthy, ultra-Orthodox men, Aardvarks, who are not serving, and the government is giving them billions, i.e. U.S. taxpayers. It's this dude, but he's speaking, he has something in his throat, so we can't understand him. This dude. And so we may have to file a report on him with the ADL for his negative talk there. Former Prime Minister Bennett out of Aardvark land. A man named Alex Sinclair was arrested in Aardvark land for wearing a little hat with both the Aardvark and Palestinian flags. Let's take a look at this report. It's quite horrific. Trigger warning here for you.
Un homme en Israël a été arrêté pour avoir porté une kippa qui arbore le drapeau israélien aux côtés du drapeau palestinien. Alex Sinclair est maître de conférences à l'université de Jérusalem, israélien et de confession juive.
Well, apologies for the French there, but you could see his little hat. He made a custom little hat with both the flags right there, and that cannot be tolerated. So even it's like little hat on little hat crime now. It's just, man, the levels of hate. And this guy right here, another big hater, ultra Orthodox Aardvark man to Trump. Listen to this. I don't know how much more of this we can take.
Our message to the Americans, my message to Honorable President Trump is that he should recognize the big difference between real Jews and false Jews. And if he wants to help Jews, the help is to destroy Israel totally. That's the biggest help. And for the American people, we'll say also the same thing. Please recognize the difference that this terrible state is not a Jewish state, and it's not a help for the Jews. It's the opposite. It's the biggest problem. It's the number one danger for Jewish people, and not only for Jewish people. It's also number one danger for the world.
You can see right there, pure antiseptic hate. But it's countered right here. So thankfully we have these great representatives. Here's House Congresswoman Haley Stevens, Democrat out of Michigan. So to counter all that, thankfully I have her in the Congress.
And in the United States Congress, I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people.
Is she that demented, or they're like sending in voice to skull technology? I don't know, or just insane rhetoric. I don't know, but yeah, obviously that's why she was elected, to represent the people of Aardvark land there in the U.S. Congress. Netanyahu praises Aardvark land Navy for intercepting the global flotilla. So imagine that. They're trying to, again, in this flotilla operation, bring some aid to the people of Gaza, and it's just not going to be allowed by Bibi here. Here's this post praising the intercept of the flotilla of aid. Well done to our Navy. I instructed them to prevent a Hamas supporting flotilla from reaching the shores of Gaza. The mission was executed with complete success. No ship and no Hamas supporter reached our territory, and not even our territorial waters. They were turned back and were returned to their countries of origin. They will continue to see Gaza on YouTube. Great work there by the Aardvark land Navy, blocking aid. I don't know why he's against Hamas. He set the thing up. So, and again, to humanize the massacres going on there against the Lebanese, this young boy was killed. Aardvark land killed yet another entire Lebanese family. Killed the father, Hassan Mohammed Harb, Isra, and Dwala Harb, the wife, and then their son here, Abdullah Hassan Harb. To humanize the Lebanese people there, to show you these massacres. It's happening on all sides. They need to stop it. Just stop it, man. Of course they won't, but they need to. IDF soldier here, 19-year-old Ben Hamo, no longer with us. All sides suffering casualties. IDF announced his death in the invasion of Lebanon. Hezbollah drones hit an Aardvark land military vehicle. Here's pictures of that. They whacked one of these. An Aardvark land drone strike on the cemetery killed 7 people and wounded several others. They're hitting their hospitals, their ambulances, their medical workers, their first responders, their cemeteries now. They're killing them twice, blowing them up once again here now. In the demolition campaign, taking over large swaths of southern Lebanon, or attempting to here now. Here's Courtney Banu. She needs to watch out because they're whacking journalists all over the place. She's now reporting from mourning the loss of those 3 first responders, civil defense workers that reported on yesterday. She better watch out. I'm sure they got her high up on the Palantir list.
I'm reporting to you from the city of Sur from the funeral of 3 civil defense workers who were killed by the Israeli army 2 nights ago in the town of Majd al-Zoun while they were carrying out their humanitarian duty, rescuing injured people who had been caught under the rubble in an Israeli bombing. When they arrived to help the injured, they themselves were targeted. The Israeli army has been systematically targeting and killing members of the civil defense and paramedics, and targeting hospitals and medical centers, killing over 100 medical professionals since March 2nd.
Stay well out there, Courtney. Stay well in your bold reporting. We do appreciate it here at Weaponized News. Yeah, more about it there. Aardvark land forces intercepted at least 22 vessels in the flotilla operation there. We showed you Bibby praising it. Aardvark land has expanded the restricted military zone in Gaza according to new maps. See, they just keep pushing, right? According to new maps shared with aid groups, bringing nearly 2/3 of the territory under Aardvark land control. The newly marked orange line, we've shifted now from the yellow line to the orange line, indicates new areas where humanitarian organizations must coordinate movements with the Aardvark land military. While Aardvark land says the changes are meant to support aid delivery and do not target civilians, many displaced Palestinians would argue that's not accurate. No, I made that part up. Many displaced Palestinians fear entering these zones could put them at risk. I don't know what gave them that idea. The last 5 guys that went for some bread got shot in the face. Here's the new orange line now, right? So Gaza started here, right? They leveled all this, and then they said, well, if you here's our new border, the yellow line, and they shot a bunch of kids. We reported on the 9-year-old girl that was allegedly playing near the yellow line. They shot in the face, right? And many others. Now they're edging in even a little closer. Now you got a new orange line. And I'm sure if you get close to this orange line, you'll get whacked as well, because everybody in here is set for termination, you see. Aardvark land forces shoot 2 mothers in Gaza refugee camp. One was holding a 1-year-old baby. Earlier today, the genocide of the Palestinians continues. And that's a report. This is a report out of Dropsite News. And where was that reported? That was via Dropsite, but it's via their reporters on the ground there. On the ground there. They're some of the most accurate reporting I've seen, honestly. So good on them at Dropsite News. But they're whacking reporters as fast as they can send them out there with a camera. You know what I'm saying? Since the Gaza ceasefire, Aardvark land has carried out 1,037 live fire attacks on Gaza, 1,204 airstrikes and shelling attacks, and 103 military incursions, according to reports shared by the Palestinian side with mediators obtained by Dropsite News. And they go into all of the sort of details here since the alleged ceasefire, which is no ceasefire at all, took effect there in Gaza. 824 Palestinians have been killed, including 214 children, 90 women, 23 elderly, and 2,316 wounded, nearly half of whom are women, children, or the elderly. So there is no ceasefire, obviously, in name only, a ceasefire going on there. And I did see some reports of some drones going into Iranian airspace earlier. It doesn't appear that any major escalation has kicked off as of right now. Let's go check out. We still have a little bit more reporting, excuse me, before we're at the end of this broadcast. Reporters Without Borders declares 2026 lowest point for global press freedom. Report out of the Cradle. Increase in aardvark suicide reported today per snow there. Yeah. Some of them that have a conscience are having the same problem all soldiers have that go fight in unjust wars, is they can't live with themselves once they realize what they've done. And it's quite horrific. Reporters Without Borders declares 2026 lowest point for global press freedom. They link to this post. The state of press freedom in the world, decline in 100 countries out of 180. Afghanistan remains among the worst. Those who still have it should not take it for granted. And you can see the global press freedom index of this year, 2026. Wow, Norway, way up there at the top. Where's the land of the free? America. Wow, where are we even on the list? I don't see us on the list here. Well, maybe someday America could have a First Amendment. Oh, we still do, but you're censored via backhanded cooperation through big tech and the legacy media monopoly on the public airwaves. I guess they don't even mention America here in this report. I don't see it sticking out. Hey, Aardvark land is 116 in global press freedom as they whack every journalist that tries to give us a report about what's actually happening on the ground there in Gaza. So, and moving on to whacking reporters on the ground in Lebanon as well. Yeah, America didn't even make the list that I could see here. Surprised, shocking, I know. Because our corruption is a little bit more sophisticated here in America than most other places. Owner of Politico and The Telegraph tells staff to quit if they don't align with corporate values, including supporting Aardvark land's right to exist. So they could just cut through all the BS and say, support the City of London Rothschild banking establishment, or get out of here. But we have all this other BS we got to in between before we get to the bottom of the rabbit hole or the top of the pyramid. One and the same, you see. So if you work for Politico or The Telegraph, get on out if you don't support this genocide going on and the Greater Aardvark Land Project and the City of London. So disturbing reports are coming out here on the Aardvark grip on our media. Here's at George Washington University, a debate between Scott Jennings, Republican hack out there in the media, on Salem Media, and Dropside reporter Ryan Grimm talking about Brad Parscale. He was the head IT guy in Trump's first run in 2026. He's now Salem's chief strategy officer and is registered as a foreign agent working for Aardvark Land Farm Ministry. So imagine that. That's all over your American radio wave Salem Broadcasting Network. Let's take a listen to this.
Rumeysa Ozturk, for instance, she was one of 4 authors of an op-ed that was calling for the support, calling for the Student Senate to support a resolution that was critical of Israel. The Student Senate passed that resolution.
It was BDS, yeah.
The Student Senate passed it. Like, I don't know, Student Senates, like, these are not actually hotbeds of radicalism. Those are the kids who, like, want to go to GW, no offense. Like, these are kids who, like, have their eye on their next thing. Even they were like, yeah, we support this. And Rumeysa Ozturk was one of 4 authors on this. And so I think it is insane what has happened in our country where you can, as an immigrant here, as a student, be as critical as you want, really, of the United States. You just can't be critical of Israel. And also, and this is not personal,
as it should be, right, Snow? Sure.
But there is so much kind of money pouring in to push us in that direction. Even Salem Media, where you do your show, right? Brad Parscale, who is the chief strategy officer there, is a registered foreign agent for the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Like, this is an American, I think it's American, right?
Salem, yeah.
Salem.
Yeah.
It's an American media company.
Sure they're American.
Whose chief strategy officer is a foreign agent registered for the state of Israel. And 30% of this company.
They're all over your conservative media. Just to let you know there.
Company is owned by Lara Trump and Don Trump Jr. Look, what? So before we're talking about, like, who, what is America? Who should be an American? It's like, can we as Americans discuss this?
Let's get Scott's response.
Yeah. So you seem to have some issue with Israel having a presence in the United States, or even on American.
I think we should be sanctioning Israel. Yes.
Even on American universities.
I think they should be sanctioned. Yes. I think it should be. I think it should be criminal for an American media company to take money from the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because I think they should be under sanctions for what they.
Well, he's clearly going against the Constitution, right? So he should be sanctioned, obviously. Okay, and another obvious one. This nun had it coming for being a Christian nun in Jerusalem. Here's video of that attack by a ultra Zionist against her. And so she clearly had it coming. Attacked, pushed in the back even. Like, it doesn't get much lower than this. That's a Christian nun that this ultra Zionist settler just pushed and hit her head on this cement right there. So, and that's what all the evangelical Christian Zionists support. They support this behavior. So there you go. We showed you the up close of her face yesterday. Big old bruise across the side of her face. And it's just beyond the pale. It's beyond the pale, but that's where we're at here now. Support them or you're bad. They say support that or you're bad. Here's Ben Gavir, consummate provocateur. He's now what is he doing? Ben Gavir expelling Bedouins from their homes. The Palestinian says, I have documents in my hand that say this is my home. Ben Gavir says, I don't care. Leave within 2 hours or you'll die.
לא חוקי עושה. הבית נראה לעבוד, מה התקופה? אתה מעלה. לא.
לא, אני מרים את החוק מהרצפה. אני מרים את החוק מהרצפה.
אתה הורס לנו, אתה הורס לזקנות, תיזרם ולאנשים.
אני הורס למי שבונה שלא כחוק.
אתה לא נותן להם
להפסיק לבנות שלא כחוק. גם אצלנו יש זקנות.
אני אתן לי
גם
קטע.
אצלנו יש אנשים שאין להם. אז מה?
זה שכונה 44.
זה לא שכונה חוקית. זה לא נבנה כחוק. הנה איפה הצד, תראה לו את הצד שלו. בוא, תראה. בבקשה.
And that's a continuing theme of terrorism committed by Ben Gvir and the ultra-Zionist settlers in the occupied West Bank, in Jerusalem, as the Greater Aardvark Land Project will be completed, regardless of how many Christian nuns they have to push down. You see? All right, that's all the reporting we got. Let's go for some headlines out of Iran International, and we'll wrap up this Thursday broadcast. Trump says Iran dying to make a deal. Tehran calls U.S. blockade intolerable. U.S. Navy conducts at-sea replenishment of guided missile destroyer. Iran MP says Arab leaders' places would be targeted if Iran attacked. U.S. treats Iran war as reset under ceasefire. Avoids congressional approval. I got to look at, that's a report out of the AP. I got to take a closer look at that. So more semantical word games. U.S. Senator plans Iran use of force authorization if credible plan lacking. I thought that we had a Congress and we had checks and balances in the government and not a king dictator, but they're treating Trump as a king dictator with his usage of our military for whatever he sees fit for the nuclear dust. For the nuclear dust. Those are the latest headlines out of Iran International. Al Jazeera, latest headlines. Junk advice. Iran mocks U.S. economic pressure campaign as oil prices surge. OPEC in crisis mode as officials gather in Vienna. Is that old? Do I need to refresh this? Yes, it needs to be refreshed. Iran says U.S. siege of ports intolerable. Yeah, about the same. About the same being reported here. Not much new. Lebanese government has no leverage in U.S.-led talks with Aardvark land, they say. Iran's embassy rejects being linked to violent attacks in the UK. And that's about all we got today. Let's go over to the channels. Thank you everybody for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Give me that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Okay, over to the Odysee. For the hardcore listeners there, Highland, Huffman, Deep, shout out to you guys. Dive's new in the comments. Dive says the aardvarks have been a vicious malignant disease to the human race. Come on, man. Give him a break. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to go and they're the best scapegoats, right? And UK intelligence figured that out a long time ago, you see. Because you give them the rope and they'll run with it. And so they're great scapegoats and they are doing pure evil, no doubt about it. But they have benefactors in the city of London that we can not forget. You see, tell them. Dive says, tell them about the USS Liberty, Gulf of Tonkin. Yeah, we report on it a whole lot here. And by the way, the whole thing about the USS Liberty, another great example. Yeah, aardvarks attacked our ship there, but they did it upon a stand down and orders from the freaking Pentagon. You know what I mean? So who pulled the strings there? Our own government. And let the aardvarks do the dirty work. And that's what they're doing now too. Letting them do the dirty work, take all the heat. And hey, there's bigger puppeteers on the top of this whole pyramid sitting there in the city of London. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in on the Odysee. Appreciate you there and your comments. John says, looks like Dive is ahead of me in antiseptic thought. Indeed, John, ahead of me too in antiseptic thought. But I do share many of your similar sentiments. But I'm telling you, man, they're scapegoating those evil bastards for the even higher up evil bastards. All right, thank you guys for tuning in on Odysee, X, Twitch. I don't think we're on Twitch today because we had to drop them for Substack, and I don't even know if that's working because it's a brand new beta mode. Anyway, thank you for tuning in on Odysee, X, Kick, Facebook, Bitchute. Shout out to the Bitchute audience, YouTube and Rumble. Let's go over here to the, let me scroll about halfway up through the comments here on the old Rumble and YouTube's. Old friend there, Mike Ivy on the Rumble. Shout out to Mike. Back in our Ron Paul campaigning days, Mike Ivy there. I do remember you, brother. Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. Snow on the YouTube says, oh, neat. All the pieces falling into place for the technate of America. Indeed. And Musk telling us today, right? Telling us today how the economy is going to work. It's fueled by energy. Currency. Denver had a lot of great comments there on the Rumble. Thank you, Denver. Shout out to Lies That Bind, Silver. Silver always with great Silver too, and Lies That Bind, always with great comments. There you go. Fat Bob's he gets out of line sometimes, but then we can always reel him back in to say go Team America, right? Oh man. And by the way, Fat Bob is an accomplished musician. He says Elvis was an aardvark psyop along with all those beach blanket bingo Drek. Fat Bob knows his stuff, let me tell you. Lies That Bind said, I see a repeating pattern in history with the British Empire, Egypt, and the Suez Canal in the 50s, and U.S. aardvark land, Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz. That's a good point there. Lies That Bind. For sure. Let's see. Lovely says, all of the senators are related. I had not heard that. We'll have to take a look at that. Are all the senators related? And that's a good question too. Where are the grandchildren of Paperclip? Of course, the Nazi scientists brought over here as part of Operation Paperclip. Yeah, where are all of them hanging out? Part of the same cult of government scientific dictatorship now, aren't they? I fell for the babies being thrown from incubators in Kuwait years ago. Trust nothing from the propaganda machine. Oh, man. Okay, last one, and then we're going to wrap up this from Denver. Denver says, think about how much a dollar buys now compared to 1994 when the yawn peg started. Yet, as dollar lost so much value, how is the exchange rate of yawn to U.S. remain basically the same for 30 years? Well, because they're manipulating. Well, we're all sides in the fake economy of fiat are manipulating, right? So, yeah. One croc on the Croczilla on the YouTube, on the Rumble said mostly one big brainwashed digital matrix world because it's one world corpo state. Denver said, yeah. Working in lockstep in many cases. All right, friends, as always, do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. We'll be back here on Friday for more Weaponized News. We'll have Snow joining us from Propelled Show. We're going to get into his battle with hackers and a bunch of fraud reporting. So tune in tomorrow, and thank you for tuning in this evening. Have a great